Michael Lambden, and I graduated from Caulfield campus in 2001. Yeah, I really enjoyed Caulfield. I spent a lot of time, I think it was a mix. It was a mix of academia for me, it was a mix of sport. I did a lot of rowing when I was at school. I think that reflecting on it now, there was a lot of great role models I had in that experience, some of the coaches, and that kind of effort that you need to put into the hard work that was there. It was paid off. We were an average crew, but we had fun. I still keep in contact with the guys. I saw one that's recently, a couple of days ago, from my rowing days, and it was a lot of fun. And I actually think, though, on reflection, something that stayed with me since I finished up was that despite the changes that you might have in your life, the group stays together. And I was really fortunate that the year level that I graduated with, and I'm sure every year level says this, but the year level that I graduated with, I think it was made up by some really great friends and colleagues now that I still keep in touch with. And it's one of those things where you can always reconnect. So I went off to study commerce and did commerce at Deakin, into a job in banking. Didn't really take my fancy. Went traveling, lived in Canada and the US for a couple of years, and then came back. I did another degree in science and climate change science, and then have spent the last 15 or so years working sustainability and climate change. I currently am the head of Sustainable Futures at Melbourne Water. Previously, I was the head of Sustainability and Climate Solutions at NAB. And so I've straddled public sector and private sector in that corporate space all my career. And just recently I finished up with an MBA. Sustainability is very general, and it can involve anything from urban planning and those types of physical environments, ecology and natural systems, through to corporate responses and focusing on decarbonisation and achieving net zero targets. I do the latter, so I focus on that side of the sustainability paradigm, I guess, or spectrum. So what I do at Melbourne Water is look at all the, I focus on reducing our emissions, and I do that through working with engineering teams to determine capital projects that are going to help reduce it. I also do a lot of the strategy and reporting that goes alongside of it. So at work, I've got the strategy team that reports into me, I've got the planning team that reports into me, and I've got the sustainability team that reports into me. The biggest challenge with sustainability is trying to define it. It can mean keep cups at your coffee shop. It can mean riding your bike or buying the electric vehicle rather than the petrol. Smaller houses rather than bigger houses. I think that, I think my version of sustainability is one where we're not necessarily, or better said, we're integrating sustainable practices into existing lifestyles. So, there is no reason why we cannot continue to use electricity. Electricity is not the problem, it's the way we generate it. There are high emissions ways of generating electricity, and there are low emissions ways of generating electricity. So, and it's the same with transport, it's the same with property, it's the same with food. Food's a really interesting one. The one practice you could be doing to change, to move the needle on sustainability would be eat less meat. I say that because energy can be decarbonised, transport also can be decarbonised, properties can use less electricity, and you can go through an energy efficiency way. Meat is high carbon intensity production, and therefore every tonne of meat that you eat releases emissions. That's the reality. Eating less meat what we'll see over time is as the rest of the economy decarbonises, energy sectors decarbonise, heavy industry decarbonises, transport decarbonises, sectors that I'm in, like water and agriculture, are going to emerge as the high emitting sectors. So get ahead of it, switch your beef to chicken, and if you want to go to the next step, have a meatless Monday. I've got 2 chunks of advice if I can be greedy. One is follow your passion. All the way along I've followed sustainability. That is a passion of mine. Every job involves a grind, and if you're doing something meaningful, if you're there to deliver impact, you will see that through. That's my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice is a piece of advice I actually received when I was at Caulfield. I remember it very well. We were sitting at the top of the Thompson Centre. A presenter came in, I can't remember her name, was delivering a presentation to the Year 12s at that year. And she said something that's stuck with me ever since, which is, you are likely to be working in a sector that currently doesn't exist. And I think that was really profound advice. And therefore my advice would be, when you do leave Caulfield and you are looking for a university course to go to, choosing something that recognises curiosity of learning and is very general will set you up very well for the future when you do need to specialise.